Hi, my name is Rich, and today we're going to be discussing how to apply for a passport. Let's get started with first-time passport applications. In order to apply for a first-time passport, you must meet the following criteria. You must be either 16 years of age or older. Your prior passport was issued 15 years or more ago. Your current passport is expired but not in your possession, or if your current passport is damaged. If your passport was lost or stolen, you'll also need to apply for a new passport. The steps are essentially the same, with the addition of a statement regarding the loss or the theft of a passport, which will also need to be included with your application. The passport application process typically takes between 6 and 8 weeks, or possibly longer, depending on the demand for passports currently. You can also choose to have your passport expedited. This process can be done as quickly as a day, but typically takes no more than a week. In order to expedite your application if you are traveling soon, you'll need to pay the government expedite fee in addition to the government base fee for the passport application. You'll also need to submit a copy of your itinerary or copy of your tickets showing proof of international departure. In order to apply for a passport, you'll need to put together several pieces of supporting documentation in addition to the passport application. Passport applications are found online at the State Department's website, or you could also use a passport expediter such as ourselves, who has a link directly to the State Department's website where the application can be found. The supporting documents you'll need: your passport or a proof of citizenship such as a birth certificate or a naturalization certificate. You'll also need 2 passport photographs, a copy of your travel itinerary, a personal check made out to Passport Services, a letter of authorization, and the passport application itself. Passport photographs are specific photographs that are taken for the express purpose of applying for a passport. They are 2 by 2 on a neutral background. The applicant should be positioned in a full frontal view with no shadows or anything in the background. Hats, sunglasses, or scarves should not be worn, and applicants should also not appear in a military uniform or uniform of any kind. You can choose to take your passport photograph yourself if you follow the specific guidelines which can be found on the State Department's website. Or there are also other options to have your passport photograph taken. You may want to try a local copy center, for example. The letter of authorization acts as a power of attorney. Essentially, the applicant is giving permission for the passport expediter to submit, collect, and discuss the passport application on the applicant's behalf. If you are applying on your own, you do not need a letter of authorization. If you are using a passport expediter, you will require a letter of authorization. The best form of proof of identification is a driver license that is at least 4 months old. There are other forms of supplemental identification that can be used to prove one's identity. For a complete list, you can either see our website or consult the State Department's website. When applying for a first-time passport, there are 2 sets of fees to be considered. First, there is the application fee that is charged if an applicant is going to apply on their own and they have plenty of time. The passport agency will charge a fee of $75 to complete the first-time passport application. If you are traveling and need your passport immediately and want to have your passport expedited, then you will need to pay a fee of $160. The government, in this case, will charge a fee of $100 as the base fee, plus an expedite fee of $60, for a total of $160. The authorization process when applying for a passport is done after the applicant has completed the passport application, has collected the supporting materials, and will then visit what is known as an acceptance agent. Acceptance agents are typically found in the main branch post office or a clerk of the court. The acceptance agent's responsibility is for verifying your identity, looking through the documentation to make sure that the application has been correctly completed and that all the supporting documents are there. They will also administer an oath, which the applicant will swear to, and then sign and date the application. Once that is done, the passport application and the supporting materials will be sealed inside of an envelope. The acceptance agent will then place time and date-sensitive seals on the application itself. The application is then handed back to the applicant, who then takes it to a passport expediter to have the passport issued in the time frame required. The passport expediter will collect the application from the applicant and then bring it to the U.S. Department of State and submit it to the Passport Services Division for processing. If you were using a passport expediter, the application will be hand-delivered to the passport agency and collected as soon as the passport is issued. You can then choose to either collect your passport in person, or the expediter can return it to you by overnight courier delivery. If you have chosen to apply on your own, The passport agency will mail your passport back to you when it is completed. The passport office has also begun issuing passport cards. Passport cards are intended for travelers who, for example, travel back and forth on a daily basis between the U.S. and Mexico. You may apply for your passport card simply by selecting to obtain one when you're applying for a passport. The additional cost of the card itself is $20. The difference between a passport and a passport card is that the passport can be used for all types of international travel, whether you travel by air, land, or sea. The passport card itself can be used exclusively for land and sea travel within the Western Hemisphere, or to Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas, and the Caribbean only. That completes the step-by-step process to apply for a first-time passport. Next, we'll begin discussing how to apply for a passport if you are a minor.
To watch the other segments in this video series or for how-to videos on almost any other topic, visit monkeyseed.com.